Right, this is my review of the Aufkl.Panzer Panther. I think that's how it's pronounced, or otherwise known as the Aufkl.Panther Panzer, or something. Anyway, if it's going to have any relevance to you, you need to know what sort of player I am. Well, I'm extremely average. I've played it on console for 4 years, and that's me. All my stats are average, I think. When you look at other people's stats, they seem to be extremely average. I like to play all tank types. I don't like tier 10 because everybody goes, "Oh, don't hurt me, don't shoot my tank, it's taken me ages to get this, boo-hoo!" And I don't like some of the map variants and some of the new maps. Just, they're not my cup of tea. They force you to get too close to each other, and I just don't like them. And plus, there's too many street maps. Okay, that's my morning out of the way. I wouldn't normally do a tank review. Other people do it, and they do it better than I do, but I couldn't find one for this tank. So I just bought it, hoping it was going to be good, and it turned out to be just perfect for me. Okay, so first thing you notice, it's big. It's as big as a medium, or some mediums. I'll show you a little comparison with tanks. I'm sure you'll know the tanks, they're quite sizable. PS4, and it's got a 400 metre view range. I'll go into view ranges a little bit later in quite a bit of detail as well. It'd be handy for someone who's not really used to scouting to have a good look at that, because view and signal range are ultra important for scouts, because without vision you've got nothing. So here's your little size comparison. I'm sure you know what these tanks are. And you know how big they are in comparison. Now, there's your power to weight ratio, which is pretty good. Your gun, the reload time, 10 degrees gun depression, that's important. Your accuracy as well, 0.34. Your tracks, good terrain resistance is there. View range, radio range, and I don't know if you've noticed the concealment factors. 23 stationary and moving, and your shells have got a good velocity. Now this is a little bit of army I've got on this tank, especially on that front upper plate there, and that actually does work. It's nicely angled, and you'll see I've got a little bit of film from when I'm in a AMX Chaffee. This is on Westfield. Ooh, it's raining as well. And there, he's unfortunately got himself spotted. A lot of people are going to start shooting at him. He's obviously not going to survive. He's going to die, but all the time he's still alive. He's spotting everybody, and his team's shooting. You can see the fire going from both directions. Yes, you see, watch a couple of these shots that just bounce straight off that upper plate there. Or fail to do any damage, which is fairly normal in loader tanks. Yeah, that one didn't do anything. Eventually, obviously, so many people are shooting him, he's doomed. This is World of Tanks, and it just lets him live that little bit of information from the World of Tanks webpage about this tank. Some of its little values. The main one to get off of this is the premium bonuses, which is 40% silver and 25% XP. Bits about the view range and how you can adjust it. With it, it's from worldoftanksinfo.net. It's a camo calculator, I think it's called, but you'll find it easy enough. You can put your crew skills on that you've got, that they're up to 100% or whatever percentage they're up to at the time that you're using it. Including brothers in arms, and then all your different equipment that help, like camo net, etc. And you can see that the view range changes, and you can also see that the maximum effective range is 445 meters. So you're thinking, well, what's the point of having extra view range on top of that? Well, I looked on the World of Tanks website, and they had some videos about view range, and the extra view range that you get from the equipment and the coffee or whatever chocolate that you've got, that actually enables you to see through other people's camo values, including the bushes and whatever they're sat behind. So I didn't know that until I read it. And also the way that the spotting works, there's certain points on your tank. One of the points is your gun mantlet, where the gun touches the turret, and then there's one usually at the centre rotation part of the turret at the back, and that's determines which direction you're looking in, that combined with the barrel. If you watch the little film they've got, it's very interesting, but it also means that you don't have to expose your tank fully to do spotting, and I'll show you a little example of that. This is, a lot of people are going to know this anyway. This is for people that don't know how to do the spotting. This tank hasn't got a good camo value. It has got a very good fuel range, and that does compensate quite a lot, but it's not a ninja like the E25 tank destroyer, which is a really good tank. So here's a basic little bit of spotting. Westfield again, raining as usual. See, I've not even exposed my tank, and that's 3 spots, and it's all XP and silver. Not being shot either. This is a little bit of the mechanics on how the spotting works. I'm not spotted, I've got 6th sense. So it's just a matter of trying to keep them at the maximum possible range, so just move forward in short little bursts. You can often tell that there's someone there because you can see the shots, even though you can't see the tank. It's just, you have to just get used to that kind of thing aboard the tanks. It doesn't make any sense, but it's the way it works. You know, people disappearing even though they're in plain view. But you will get used to it. It's very, very annoying. These people that I'm shooting at don't even know I'm here. I've not taken any return fire. I've not been spotted. And I'm sure this has happened to everybody. You're getting spotted and shot, and you can't see where it's coming from and who's doing it, and you never find out until the end of the match who it was. Very, very annoying when you're on the receiving end of it. There you go, another one spotted. Ooh, a big critical hit. But there's plenty of things like this. Nice reload speed there. You can set up for reloading faster by having a gun rammer, but you have to sacrifice something else like your camo net or binoculars possibly. My best setup so far is coated optics, camo net and binoculars, because I don't like to be too active scouting. And don't forget, when you're sitting there scouting, a lot of these shots, especially on the bigger tier matches, are worth a lot of money and XP. Some of the shots are 500 damage points, and you'll get that as spot assisted damage. It's as good as doing the damage yourself. You don't need to kill things in this game to make XP and money. I get spotted here, and I just back off. I do take a hit, but it doesn't really matter at this stage of the game. Very, very basic bit of recon bait, and that's it. And I think that STA2 fired a heat shell at me, which is not good against sloped armour apparently. But then again, sometimes you just get blown up with one shot, so anything's going to happen in World of Tanks. Or it might have been a high explosive. I can't remember which colours which, to be honest with you, most of the time. So I think the main advantage of this tank is it's, I think a tier 7 with a 400 metre view range is pretty exceptional. I don't know if there's anything else to match it. And I can't stress how important that is. Even at tier 8s, some of them are only 390 metres. Like the BC12, which you'll come across quite a lot. It's 380 metres. And the AMX CDC, that's 390 metres, AMX 1375, you see a lot of them 370 metres. You're going to be out spotting all these people, including things like the old Centurion, the FV 202P, the other premium. But you have to remember, you're a tier 7 tank, and sometimes you're going to be down with tier 5s, and sometimes you're going to be with tier 9s, and it can compete in a tier 9 match quite easily. But like any scout, you cannot afford to get shot, and especially if you're running round as fast as possible, like some people do, and then suddenly you get tracked, you're dead in seconds because you've been running through the ranks annoying everybody, and literally everybody that can see you is looking at you and they're pointing their guns at you and they're ready for you to get tracked, and they all want to shoot you because you've annoyed the hell out of them. I think the biggest surprise I've had with this tank is how good the gun is. It on the stats and on paper it doesn't look as good as a lot of other guns, but in practice it really works. I've even gone through front of like a T29, things like that. It's very good at flanking, and it's got a really good rate of fire, which you can make a little bit better with a gun rammer. But remember, because it works on a percentage, it's already got a good reload speed, so a gun rammer's not going to make that much difference. It will make some difference, but you're getting into the realms with some guns of making sure that the aiming time isn't longer than your reload time, if you know what I mean. So you're having to wait for the aim, so that it makes the gun rammer pointless unless you're extremely close range, like with a Churchill or a Matilda. The tank's really nice and manoeuvrable. It seems to work on every map really. You don't really want it on a street map with it, but you know, you get lumbered quite a lot on them, so you don't have a choice. But even there you can still do well if you're very careful. You can't stick it in front of a big tank and hope to survive though, because you're going to get blown up very quickly. You've only got a little bit of armour, and you are lucky to bounce anything. Now, I've watched a few people doing tank reviews and they show awesome bits of gameplay, and it's like they're selling the tank to you. Well, I'm trying to not do that. I'm not a good enough player anyway. There's a hell of a lot of luck involved in this game. A lot more than there should be. I've been playing it 4 years, along with a few other people. I know exactly what their stats are like, so you can look them online, and we're all extremely similar. We're all around the 50% mark, you know, between 48 to 55% win-loss ratio, things like that. It's very suspicious how that in 4 years nobody's really improved to the point where they're always winning. You know, like Call of Duty and Battlefield, you get people that definitely can play that game better than others. This game's not really like that, and anyone that thinks it is either got extremely lucky, or they're just fooling themselves, or they're always in a platoon of 5, which is always going to give you an advantage. You're more likely to win if you're in a large platoon. That said, I am average, but even with my average play, I can still play this tank and earn a good amount of silver, a good amount of XP, and have fun in it, which is what counts more than anything. I'm not going to talk too much more now, other than I just really like the tank, and as you can see, I've got chocolate. That helps everything. You know, that's just one of the game of tank mechanics, game mechanics that you know, it's a game you're playing. It's not a simulation. It's not real life, and it doesn't matter if you lose your tier 10 tank, as annoying as it can be, with one shot from the artillery. That is annoying, though. Yeah, it's very annoying. I've never had so much hate messages, and also some ones that, you know, like good game sort of things that you get. So I think it stirs people's emotions. I certainly can get extremely annoyed playing it, that's for sure. It can be very, very frustrating, and you have to try and be level-headed and just remember it's a game. But it's a game that's trying to kill you. And oh, it's also trying to get you to spend real money as well. But I often platoon up with an American friend that I've got, and he's literally about as laid back as you can get. And it even makes him swear and lose his temper. He does regret it though, when he's been swearing, much to his credit. But yeah, I'm not sure if you're going to like this tank, but if you've got a similar sort of preference, I hope I've been able to get across what my preferences is. Because that's the only way you're going to know if this tank's worth buying for you or not. If you don't like scouting, leave it. It's that simple. Because anything that you buy and don't use is a total waste of money. So to sum up, I like it. It's that simple. That's all I've really got to say about it. This is one of them matches that's suddenly the team collapses and that's the end of it. Don't know how that works. If you've played this game enough, you'll realise that does actually happen quite often. You wonder why you're taking so much fire, and then realise there's only you and your teammate left, or you and 2 or 3 other people, and the whole map's filled with enemy all shooting at you. It's a very World of Tanks moment. Anyway, I'm about to lose this tank. As you'll see, I'll just leave it. So I'm just a normal person that gets blown up like any other player. Nothing special about me. Nothing to see here. I hope you've found this review helpful. I'll put some little screens at the end to show you, like, its silver earning potentials in win and loss games. Obviously, it's better to win, but you can't have everything. Thanks for watching.